Let's dive deeper into this. It's time to face the hard truth. You are giving too much of your energy to things and people who aren't worth it. You're pouring out everything you have day after day to people who aren't moving in the direction you're headed, and it's draining you. I know this might sound harsh, but I need you to hear this loud and clear. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table, and you have to recognize that there are people, habits, and situations in your life that are stealing your energy, preventing your growth, and keeping you stuck. And it's not their fault. It's yours for continuing to tolerate it. Let me ask you a simple question. Who or what is draining you right now? Think about it. Look around your life. Who are the people that call you and you feel tired just by looking at the phone? Who are the ones who complain, criticize, and weigh you down with their negativity? It might be family, friends, coworkers, or even people in your own inner circle who simply don't have the vision, the energy, or the drive that you do. They are, in a sense, a leak in your life, sucking up all of your passion, your focus, and your momentum. I'm going to tell you something that might sting, but it's the truth. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Now, let me be clear. I'm not saying to abandon your loved ones, your friends, or your colleagues, but if you're constantly surrounded by people who are not aligned with your dreams, your vision, and your purpose, they will hold you back. They don't have the vision for what you're trying to build. They don't have the fire that you've got burning inside you. They don't understand the heights you are meant to reach, so they can't help you climb. Some of you are giving too much to people who are not going where you're going. You're investing your time, your energy, your passion into relationships that aren't adding to your growth, and you know it. It's easy to stay attached to people and situations out of a sense of loyalty or because you don't want to hurt their feelings. But loyalty to the wrong people will keep you stuck in the wrong place. Some of these relationships are toxic and you know it, but for some reason you've convinced yourself that the pain of cutting ties will be worse than the pain of staying the same. But here's the thing. If you keep pouring your energy into people and environments that don't add value to your life, you're not giving yourself the chance to grow. You're not allowing your purpose to flourish. You're not giving yourself the freedom to become the best version of yourself. I've been there. I used to be so concerned with making sure that everyone around me was happy that I neglected myself. I was afraid to let go of people who didn't deserve my energy, people who were comfortable where they were and didn't want to see me rise higher. And guess what happened? I got stuck, I got frustrated, I got exhausted because no matter how much I gave, it was never enough. I didn't realize at the time, but I was trying to force a connection that wasn't meant to be. I was trying to drag people who weren't ready to run. And it cost me time, it cost me energy, it cost me focus. But the moment I recognized that my energy was being drained, everything changed. I started setting boundaries. I started saying no when I needed to. I stopped feeling guilty for prioritizing myself, my vision, my dreams. And guess what? The right people began to show up. The right opportunities started to unfold. The things I once had to force started to flow, but I had to let go first. I had to stop focusing on trying to save people who weren't ready to save themselves. It's not easy, it's painful to let go of people you've invested in, people who you've been loyal to, but listen to me. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot elevate in life while trying to carry people who are still stuck in their own mess. You can't run a marathon while dragging someone who doesn't want to run. If they're not ready to rise, you need to let them go so that you can rise. The truth is, focusing on yourself means getting real with yourself. It means taking inventory of who's in your life, what they bring to the table, and what you're really getting from those relationships. Are you getting support, encouragement, and inspiration, or are you just being drained? The answer will tell you everything you need to know about where you need to focus next. And once you've acknowledged those energy drainers, it's time to reclaim your power. And let me tell you this, reclaiming your power is not just about setting boundaries. It's about understanding that focusing on yourself is the most powerful thing you can do, not just for your growth, but for the growth of everything around you. Here's a truth I need you to grab hold of. You cannot pour from an empty cup. If you've been running on empty, constantly giving to others, trying to help people who aren't willing to help themselves, trying to fix things that aren't yours to fix, You're not going to have the energy or the resources to build the life you want. And what's worse, you'll wake up one day feeling completely depleted, questioning what you've been working for, and wondering where all your time went. Why? Because you were giving away your power to things that didn't deserve it. This isn't selfish, this is self-preservation. There's a misconception in society that focusing on yourself is narcissistic, that it's somehow wrong or greedy to put yourself first. But let me ask you this. If you don't put yourself first, who will? If you don't prioritize your dreams, your well-being, and your growth, who will? No one else is going to do it for you. In fact, people around you might resent the fact that you're starting to prioritize your own goals and stop enabling their stagnation. But that's the price you pay when you decide to take control of your destiny. Focusing on yourself isn't about being arrogant or dismissive of others. It's about recognizing that in order to be the best version of yourself, you've got to stop trying to be everything to everyone else. And that takes courage. It takes the courage to say no to the things that drain you, the courage to say yes to the things that build you. It takes the courage to recognize that sometimes your best version can't coexist with your old version, the one that was always sacrificing, always putting others first, always apologizing for your success. When you stop giving away your energy, you start getting stronger, clearer, and more focused on what truly matters. And that's not selfish, it's self-respect. You have to get to a point where you understand that you are your most important assets. You are the vehicle that carries your purpose, your dreams, your impact. If that vehicle isn't maintained, fueled, and running at its highest potential, nothing else you try to do will work. You'll keep spinning your wheels. You'll keep working hard, but seeing little results. You'll keep sacrificing, but feeling more and more drained. But when you put yourself first, when you feed your soul, your mind, your body, your spirit, everything else begins to fall into place. Let's be honest. Some of you have been afraid to focus on yourself because you've been taught that it's wrong to take time for yourself. You've been conditioned to believe that if you're not constantly giving to others, you're somehow failing. But here's the reality. If you don't fill up your own tank, you won't be able to help anyone else anyway. It's like flying on an airplane. They tell you, in case of an emergency, put your own oxygen mask on first. Why? Because you can't help others if you're suffocating. If you're not taking care of your own needs, your own mental health, your own growth, how can you possibly be the best for your family, your friends, your business, or your community? And I finally learned to focus on myself, to pour energy into my personal development, my health, and my growth. I started to see things in my life shift. I had more clarity, more creativity, more energy to serve others. And the best part, I was able to give in a way that was sustainable. I wasn't just giving from a place of duty or obligation. I was giving from a place of overflow. I had so much more to give because I had poured into myself first. And when you focus on yourself in this way, you stop feeling resentful for the things you sacrificed. You stop feeling drained by the needs of others. You start giving from a place of abundance. Now, here's what I want you to do. Start today by taking inventory of where your energy is going. How are you spending your time? Who are you surrounding yourself with? What are you reading, listening to, watching? Are these things fueling your growth or are they draining you? Because you need to begin making choices that nourish your soul, your mind, and your body. Invest in your own growth. Make yourself a priority, not just in your words, but in your actions. And let me be real with you, this isn't always going to be easy. People will start to notice the changes and they might not like it. They might try to pull you back into the old patterns, but don't be afraid of the discomfort. That discomfort is a sign that you're growing. That discomfort is the signal that you're beginning to reclaim your power. Because when you start focusing on yourself, you start attracting the right people, the right opportunities, and the right circumstances that align with who you're becoming. When you make yourself the priority, you don't just change your life, you change the lives of everyone around you. And that's the power of focusing on yourself. It's not about being selfish. It's about being self-aware and doing what's necessary to elevate your life to the next level. And when you get to that next level, you'll find that your ability to serve others, to lead, and to love has expanded beyond what you ever thought was possible. Let me be clear about something. Letting go of toxic attachments is one of the most freeing and empowering things you can do for your life. It's like cutting the strings that are keeping you tethered to a place that's holding you back from your true potential. And yes, I know it's hard. You're afraid of the unknown. You're afraid of what people will think. But the truth is, holding on to toxic relationships, whether it's with people, places, or even habits, is not just keeping you stuck. It's actively sabotaging your future. I want you to picture something. You're walking through life, carrying a heavy load. It's hard to move, hard to breathe, hard to focus, because that load is always weighing you down. It could be a relationship that's draining you emotionally. It could be a situation that keeps you in a constant state of stress. It could even be a mindset or habit that you've clung to for years because it's comfortable, even though you know it's damaging. And every day you're lugging that heavy load around, getting tired, wondering why you're not moving forward, not understanding that you can't walk into your future with all that weight. Now imagine if you took all of that weight and just let it go, just let it drop. What would happen? What would your life look like if you stopped carrying those toxic relationships, those negative patterns, and that old baggage? You'd feel lighter, wouldn't you? You'd feel freer. Your path would be clearer. The possibilities for your future would seem endless. This is exactly what happens when you let go of the toxic attachments in your life. I know some of you are holding on to relationships that no longer serve you. You've been loyal to people who drain you emotionally, who take more than they give, who only show up when they need something but never when you need support. And I get it. Letting go of people, especially when there's a history, is hard. Yeah, you've invested time, energy, and love into them, and it feels like you're betraying them if you step away. But here's what you need to understand. You cannot keep giving to people who are not willing to give back. And when you do, you're robbing yourself of the ability to grow, to move forward, and to truly step into your purpose. Some of you are still holding on to people who are holding you down. They may not even realize it, but they are stuck in their own limitations, and they're trying to pull you down into their limited thinking. They may be friends, family, or colleagues who consciously or unconsciously are projecting their fears, their insecurities, and their limitations onto you. They're comfortable in the box they've created for themselves, and they want you to stay there too. They want to keep you in the same cycle, the same mindset, the same patterns. Why? Because it's familiar and because your growth challenges them. But let me ask you something. Why should you settle for that? Why should you continue to feed into a relationship that keeps you small, that keeps you stuck in the same place? You are meant for more than that. There's another truth you need to embrace. Some people are in your life for a season, and some people are in your life for a reason. But not everyone is meant to walk with you on this journey to greatness. Some people are only in your life to teach you a lesson, and once you've learned that lesson, you have to move on. Holding on to them after that is like holding on to a dead weight. It's not helping you grow, it's just keeping you stuck in the past. And here's the kicker. You're not just holding on to them, you're holding yourself back. And it's not just about people. Some of you are holding on to bad habits, old mindsets, or toxic environments that no longer serve you. Maybe it's a negative belief about your own potential. Maybe it's procrastination. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it's self-doubt. Whatever it is, holding on to those old ways of thinking, those limiting beliefs, is just as toxic as holding on to people who drain you. You've been carrying these things around for so long that they've become a part of who you are, but they're not who you really are. They are simply a product of the past. And until you let them go, you can't step into the future that is waiting for you. Letting go means cutting ties with what no longer aligns with your purpose. It means choosing to move forward, even if that means leaving some people and things behind. It means standing up and saying, I am worthy of better. I am worthy of peace. I am worthy of relationships and environments that bring out the best in me. This is not about being heartless or cruel. It's about making a bold decision to honor yourself, your purpose, and your future. It's about stepping into your power, recognizing that you are the architect of your own destiny, and that the only way to truly build the life you want is by releasing everything and everyone that is weighing you down. You don't have to explain yourself to anyone. You don't owe anyone an explanation for cutting them out of your life. The only person you need to answer to is yourself and your future. When you decide to release those toxic attachments, you're not abandoning anyone. You're simply putting yourself in a position to grow. You're making space for the right people, the right opportunities, and the right blessings to flow into your life. I promise you this, the moment you let go of what's not meant for you, you'll find that your life starts to align in ways you never thought possible. You'll find that you're freer, stronger, and more focused on your purpose. And that's the kind of life you were always meant to live. When you begin to focus on yourself and let go of those toxic attachments, something incredible happens. You unlock the power of self-development. This is where the magic starts to unfold. It's as if you've taken the shackles off your potential and now you're free to pursue the person you were always meant to be. Self-development isn't just about reading books or attending seminars. It's not just about acquiring knowledge or learning new skills. It's about transforming the way you think, feel, and act. It's about shifting from the person you were in the past to the person you need to become in order to achieve your goals and live your purpose. This shift, this evolution requires effort, discipline, and commitment to becoming the best version of yourself. But let me tell you, it's worth it. I've seen people who've been stuck in their old ways for years, stuck in toxic relationships, bad habits, and limiting beliefs. And the moment they decide to invest in their own development, everything starts to change. I know because I've been there. I was once someone who had potential but wasn't fully tapping into it. I had a lot of ideas, a lot of drive, but I didn't have the mental discipline or the mindset to take my life to the next level. I was focused on everything and everyone else, but never on myself. And that's where I was going wrong. The moment I decided to focus on my own growth, everything shifted. I stopped complaining about the people around me, I stopped blaming the circumstances, and I started taking responsibility for myself. I started reading the books that would elevate my thinking. I started surrounding myself with people who were doing better than me. People who had the mindset and the habits that I wanted to adopt. I started working on my health, my skills, and my knowledge. Not because I was trying to become someone else, but because I was trying to become the best version of me. When you focus on self-development, you become more than just a person chasing goals. You become someone who is evolving, who is constantly growing, learning, and improving. You begin to see challenges as opportunities to grow, not obstacles to stop you. You stop reacting to life and start creating your own path. You become the kind of person who doesn't wait for success to find you, but who goes out and claims it. One of the most powerful things about self-development is that it doesn't just change you, it changes the world around you. The more you grow, the more others around you start to grow as well. When you elevate yourself, you begin to inspire and impact the people in your circle. You start attracting people who are also focused on their growth. You become a magnet for positivity, opportunity, and success. But it starts with you. It starts with your commitment to become the best version of yourself, to invest in yourself in ways that most people are unwilling to. And here's another thing. Self-development isn't always glamorous. It's not always easy. There will be days when you feel like you're not making progress, days when you question whether it's even worth it. But I want to remind you that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. Every book you read, every skill you acquire, every challenge you overcome, it's all adding up. It's all contributing to the person you are becoming. The transformation you experience when you focus on self-development is deep and lasting. It's not a quick fix or a shortcut. It's a continuous process, one that takes time, patience, and perseverance. But the payoff is huge. When you invest in your own growth, you create a solid foundation for success in every area of your life. You stop waiting for external circumstances to change and start taking control of your own destiny. As you invest in yourself, you'll find that you start to unlock new levels of confidence and self-assurance. You'll stop doubting your ability to succeed because you'll know that you are constantly improving. You'll stop letting fear control your decisions because you'll be armed with the mindset and the tools you need to push through it. The more you grow, the more you begin to trust yourself, and that confidence will propel you forward even when things get tough. Self-development also leads to a deep sense of fulfillment. You'll no longer feel like you're just going through the motions. You'll wake up every day with purpose, knowing that you are moving closer to becoming the person you are meant to be. When you are committed to your own growth, you're not just waiting for life to happen. You're creating a life that aligns with your true potential. But here's the most important part. As you focus on your own self-development, you start to realize that you were always capable of more than you thought. You start to see the incredible power within you, the power to change your circumstances, to impact others, and to create the life you desire. You realize that everything you need to succeed is already inside you. The only thing standing between you and your dreams is you. And when you choose to invest in yourself, you start to remove the barriers that have been holding you back. It's time to commit to your own growth. It's time to stop letting the world around you dictate your future. When you focus on self-development, you create a life that is aligned with your purpose, your potential, and your dreams. You start to build a future that you're proud of, a future that's full of growth, success, and fulfillment. So I challenge you today. Start investing in yourself. Stop waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect circumstances. Start now. The greatest investment you can make is in yourself. When you focus on your own growth, everything else in your life begins to grow with you. Now that you've made the decision to focus on yourself, let go of toxic attachments, and start investing in your self-development, the next step is to take massive action, because all the knowledge, all the vision, all the plans in the world mean nothing without action. You can dream about becoming successful. You can write out all the goals you want to achieve, but until you take bold, decisive action, you'll never see those dreams come to life. And I know some of you may be thinking, but I don't have the resources, or I don't know where to start. But I want to tell you that the difference between those who achieve greatness and those who don't is not resources. It's the willingness to take action even when the circumstances aren't perfect. In fact, the most successful people in the world didn't wait for everything to be perfect. They didn't wait for all the stars to align. They didn't wait for the perfect moment. They started imperfectly with what they had, where they were. And that's exactly what you have to do. Action is the bridge between where you are right now and where you want to be. It's the fuel that propels you forward even when you're unsure, even when you're scared, even when you don't know exactly how it's all going to work out. Action doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be taken. Because the more you take action, the more momentum you build. The more momentum you build, the more confidence you gain. And as you continue taking action, you start to see results, even if they're small at first. It's those small results that compound over time and eventually create the life you've been dreaming of. I want you to think about a time when you took action toward something, no matter how small, and how it felt. Maybe it was making that first phone call, or sending that first email, or taking that first step toward a new goal. Even if it didn't turn out perfectly, you probably felt proud of yourself. Why? Because action creates progress. Even the smallest step forward is still a step forward. And when you commit to taking consistent action, no matter how small You'll start to see the doors opening, the opportunities arising, and the results beginning to materialize. But it starts with you stepping up and doing the work. I remember when I first started on my journey, I had no idea how everything was going to fall into place. I didn't have all the answers, and I certainly didn't have all the resources. But what I did have was a burning desire to improve, a vision for the future, and a willingness to do whatever it took to make it happen. I took action. I got up every single day and did the work, even when it felt like nothing was happening. I took action when I was scared, when I was uncertain, and when it didn't seem like the odds were in my favor. That's how I started building momentum. One action at a time. Now, I'm not gonna lie to you. Taking massive action is not always comfortable. It requires you to step out of your comfort zone and push through the doubts, fears, and insecurities that will inevitably arise. But here's the thing. Growth never happens in your comfort zone. The only way you will evolve into the person you're meant to be is by stepping outside of what's familiar, by taking risks, and by facing the unknown. It's the discomfort, the struggle, and the challenges that will forge you into a stronger, more capable version of yourself. But none of that can happen if you don't take that first step. The key is to embrace action as a habit. You don't need to wait until you feel ready. You don't need to wait for everything to line up perfectly. You just need to take one step today, and then another tomorrow, and keep going. This is how you build momentum. This is how you create the life you want, is by making action a part of your daily routine, a part of who you are. The more you act, the more confident you become. The more you act, the more you learn, grow, and refine your path. And let me tell you this, failure is part of the journey. It's not the end, it's simply feedback. When you take action, there will be times when things don't work out the way you expect, but that's okay. Failure is not something to fear. In fact, failure is your best teacher. Every time you fail, you learn something new. Every time you fail, you're getting closer to your breakthrough. But if you never take action, you'll never experience that growth. You'll stay stuck wishing for change, but never actually creating it. So embrace the failures, embrace the setbacks, and keep taking action. Each step you take is a step closer to your dream. The truth is, the longer you wait to take action, the more time you waste. I don't care how many plans you've made, how many strategies you've outlined, or how many books you've read. If you're not taking action, you're not moving forward. And time, my friends, is the most valuable resource you have. Every second you waste not taking action is a second you'll never get back. So why wait? Why not take action now? When you focus on yourself, let go of toxic attachments, invest in self-development, and commit to massive action, you will see the results. And it won't happen overnight, but it will happen if you stay consistent, if you keep moving forward, and if you never give up. Remember, the path to success is built by consistent action, no matter how small it may seem. So take the first step today and keep moving. The life you've dreamed of is waiting for you, but it can only be reached through action. As you continue down this path with a clear focus on yourself, letting go of what no longer serves you, investing in your growth, and taking massive action, you'll start to see it change. But here's where most people stop. They don't stay committed. The true transformation happens when you remain disciplined and consistent no matter what. Consistency is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's easy to be motivated in the beginning, but the real test of your character and your future success is whether or not you stay committed when things get tough. In the early stages, everything feels exciting, right? You're filled with energy, you're pumped up by the idea of change, and you see all these possibilities ahead of you. But then somewhere along the way, things start to get hard. Maybe the results aren't coming as quickly as you thought. Maybe the doubts start creeping in. Maybe your old habits are pulling at you, trying to bring you back to your comfort zone. And that's where many people falter. That's when they quit. They give up just before their breakthrough. But let me tell you something that has been a game changer for me. The key to success is not motivation. The key to success is discipline. Motivation is fleeting. It's a spark, a momentary burst of energy. It's what gets you started, but it's consistency and discipline that keeps you going. Discipline is the ability to do what you need to do even when you don't feel like doing it. It's ability to keep going when the excitement fades, when the newness wears off, and when the hard work starts to feel overwhelming. When I first started my journey, there were days when I felt like giving up, days when I didn't want to work, days when I didn't feel like being disciplined. But I kept reminding myself that the work I was doing now wasn't just for today. It was building the future I wanted. It was laying the foundation for the person I wanted to become. And that's what kept me going. I understood that success doesn't come in bursts of effort. It comes from daily, consistent action. It comes from showing up, even on the days when you don't feel like it, when the world seems to be against you, when things aren't working out the way you envisioned. That's when your commitment is truly tested. Now, I'm not saying it's easy. It's not. There will be days when you want to quit. But here's the truth. Your breakthrough is just on the other side of that struggle. The difference between those who make it and those who don't is how long they're willing to keep going, even when it feels like they're not making progress. The ones who make it are the ones who understand that success is the sum of small efforts repeated day in and day out. I want you to think about this for a moment. What would your life look like if you committed to taking consistent action every day? Even on the tough days, even when the odds seemed stacked against you. What would your life look like if you showed up for yourself, your goals, and your dreams, no matter how small the steps were? You'd be amazed at the progress you'd make over time. The small victories add up. The days you push through, the days you stay disciplined, even when you're not feeling it, those are the days that count. Those are the days that move the needle forward. The truth is, consistency isn't glamorous, it's not sexy, it's not exciting, but it's effective. It's the work you do when no one is watching. It's the effort you put in even when you're not seeing immediate results. It's the hours spent honing your craft, improving your mindset, taking those small actions toward your goals day after day without giving up. And when you keep showing up, no matter what, you'll start to notice the compound effect taking place. You'll see the progress you've made, even when it's small at first, and over time, you'll realize just how far you've come. Staying consistent and disciplined doesn't just build the life you want, it builds the person you need to be in order to sustain that life. Success isn't just about reaching a destination, it's about becoming the person who is worthy of that success. And the only way to become that person is through the power of consistency. Every day that you commit to your growth, every day that you stay disciplined, you're shaping your future. It's easy to look at someone successful and think they just got lucky, that it all came easily to them. But the reality is that behind every success story is a person who was willing to show up even when no one was cheering them on, even when the work felt hard, even when the results weren't immediate. They kept going because they knew that every effort mattered, and eventually those efforts would lead to the transformation they desired. So what I want you to do today is commit to staying disciplined even when it feels like it's not working. Commit to showing up for yourself every single day, even on the hard days. Because when you stay consistent, you will build a momentum that will carry you through the challenges, the setbacks, and the doubts. You will create a future that aligns with the person you've always been capable of becoming. But it all starts with making that choice to be disciplined, to stay committed, and to keep showing up no matter what.